The new Cleveland Metroparks Tree Selector tool is a great resource for figuring out what kind of tree to plant in your yard if you live in the Cleveland area or anywhere across Northeast Ohio. You can be rest assured that the tree selection tool will give you something that's a tree for the right place and is the right species of tree to support wildlife, filtering of stormwater, and a beautiful tree for your yard. You can be further assured that this tree is beneficial because the entire list on the Tree Selector tool is curated by Cleveland Metroparks staff. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the best way to use the Tree Selector tool if you're a homeowner. First, I'll show you how you can access the tool. Then I'll walk you through step-by-step the Tree Selector tool itself. We'll also take a look at how you can get more information on different forest communities and how to use the handy landscape mapping tool. There's also a really handy built-in nursery locator where you can find a nursery that may actually sell the tree that you want to plant. Finally, we'll take a look at the additional resources page and we'll walk through the site briefly one more time to see how it looks using a mobile device. You can access the Tree Selector tool by going to the web address treeselector-clevelandmetroparks.com. You can also access the tool using a search engine like Google. Type in CMP Tree Selector, and it should be the first option that comes up. You'll want to double check that it says treeselector-clevelandmetroparks.com. The first thing you'll see is the home page. You can read a little bit about the Tree Selector tool itself and some of the resources that are offered on the page, as well as the importance of choosing and planting native trees. And you can see that many of these resources were made possible through Lubrizol and the Charles L. Pack Trust. Let's explore each section of the site to see how we can best utilize this amazing new tool. First, let's take a look at the Tree Selector itself. So if you click on Tree Selector at the top, you'll see there are options for different land managers. There is an option for homeowners, landscape architects, land stewards, and arborists. In this scenario, I'm a homeowner and I'm looking for a new native tree that's going to both provide all the wonderful ecological benefits of native trees, but also impress my neighbors a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and select homeowners. And you can see there's a variety of filters that come up that'll help me filter and sort through the 90 different tree species that are offered on the Tree Selector tool. You don't have to worry about all of these menu options. You can just choose the ones that are important to you. In this case, I want something that's maybe more medium in height, and I want something that's either slow or moderate in terms of its growth rate. Don't want something that's going to grow too quickly. In my yard, I don't have a ton of sun, so I'm going to select full sun to shade and part shade. And I think that's pretty good. Let's see what we've got. All right, so we've got a list now of 10 different tree species, and wow, they do look nice. So I'm going to look through and say, which one do I like the best? And I'm looking and I see this one called black gum. And this one, I like the shape of the leaves. So you can see that it's full sun to shade, it likes moist soils, and it meets my requirement of being more medium height. I can click on more details, and here I can see things like its climate tolerance, its benefits to wildlife, and other attributes that I might care about. And I can view some lovely pictures of what this tree looks like at different times throughout the year. Look at that fall color. If I really want more details than that, I can select on See More Details, and as you can see, I get a lot more information. The preferred soil type, its native status, the root fungal association that helps with nutrient uptake, and many, many other details. Some of this information may be useful to you, and some of this information may be useful to an arborist, a landscape architect, or someone else using this tool. But you can see you can quickly access this information. Another thing I can do with the tree selector tool is compare different trees side by side. Let's say I was looking at the black gum, but I was also debating whether I was going to do a black gum as my selected tree, or perhaps the somewhat similar looking bitternut hickory. In each little box that names the tree, there's a little icon that says compare. I can click on that and it'll add it to my compare list. I can then add whatever other trees I want to compare with that tree that I'm looking at first. In this case, I wanted to compare black gum with bitternut hickory, so I'll click on compare for bitternut hickory. And I think that's good enough, and then I'll select Compare to Items. And you can see that I can look at the attributes of each tree side by side, and then from there, narrow it down further and choose which one is best for my yard or my site. Another interesting component of the Tree Selector tool is the Plant Communities page. On the Plant Communities page, you can view the different plant and forest communities that are common across our region and get more information about them. For example, if I select the wet red maple mixed hardwood forest, I can view information about that forest community, view some of the dominant tree species, and I can even find a place where I can go and see an example of this forest community. In this case, it looks like Buns Lake in Bradley Woods Reservation along the All-Purpose Trail or the Crushed Gravel Trail is a great place to see this forest community. I can even click on a link to get directions to that site in Cleveland Metroparks. The Tree Selector tool also comes with a landscape mapping option. In the landscape mapping section, you can view different maps of things like the plant community types, such as what we looked at earlier, as well as a map of soil type or organic soil carbon across the Cleveland metropolitan area. In this case, I'm curious to look at the plant community type, and I'm going to view into a place that I'm familiar with. I'm going to go over into the Chagrin Valley, and we'll take a look and see what kind of plant community types are present there. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. I can also double click, and you can see that when I click on some of the colored pixels, it will come up and tell me what kind of forest community that is. In this case, this area with the dark green is an area that's dominated by beech and sugar maple as a mixed hardwood hemlock forest. As I click around, you can see there are other types of tree covers like urban tree cover, and then you can see places where there is not really a significant amount of a tree cover, canopy cover, or a discernible forest community. Built into the tree selection tool is a nursery locator. Here you can view a list and a map of nurseries that sell trees that are native to Ohio, including many that are found on the tree selector list. I'll click on one as an example. In this one, I can view information about this nursery, get its address, location, and contact information. It'll even tell me what % of their inventory are as native species. In this case, this nursery sells 100% native trees and plants. Finally, the Additional Resources page has additional information on forest communities, some of the research behind the Tree Selector tool, and information about forest conservation across our region, including some local initiatives as well. The Tree Selector tool can also be accessed via a mobile device, such as a phone or a tablet. It has all of the same functionality as the desktop version, but as you can see, the layout is different because it's configured for a smaller screen. You can access the different pages and tools by clicking the button in the upper right-hand corner, noting that the layout of the site may look a little bit different depending on the device that you use. In this case, I'm using an Android device. You can select on each of the different options in the Tree Selector, again, returning to that menu using the button in the upper right-hand corner. Hopefully by now, you have a good feel for how to use the new Cleveland Metroparks Tree Selector tool. Happy planting!